Hello and welcome to the Golf Diaries. Today we're looking at the best ways to protect your car from that dreaded rust. Hello and welcome back to the Golf Diaries. If you're into your VWs, VW lifestyle, car care, VW shows, any of that kind of stuff, hopefully you've come to the right place. So please like, subscribe and spread the word. So what are we talking about today? Well, as car owners, car lovers, the fight against the dreaded rust is something we have to deal with. If you're anything like me, you never really stop trying to think of ways of protecting your cars. It's a bit sad, really, isn't it? But hey, it's our passion in life, isn't it? So yeah, certainly when you've got a couple of cars that are getting on a little bit in years, or if, like me, you also own a Land Rover Defender which just rusts for fun. Whenever it gets a little bit damp outside, it just turns brown. You have to come up with ways of protecting it. So, after years of trying various products, from the likes of Dinitrol and Waxoyl and Buzzweld and various others, I keep coming back to the same range of products, and that will come as no great surprise to you, but perhaps that's Bilt Hamber. So whilst Bilt Hamber do a range of products such as what I have here, Hydrate 80, that are designed to help you treat rust, so any existing rust you've got on your car, just helps convert it back to a solid state so you can then paint it, prime it and protect it. Today I'm just really going to concentrate on the protection products, so things like the underbody seals and so on. Now this is really important, not just if you've got a daily driver, certainly a daily driver that likes to rust, but it's also very important if you've got show cars or cars that spend a lot of the year sat inside, because they have condensation form on them. They don't get lots of kind of air circulating around them. Rust does become a problem on stored cars. So the things that I'll take you through today are products that I use myself. There's one new product to me, and I'll explain why I've bought that. But the others are ones that I've been using for years and just seem to work and give the best bang for buck and best protection. So, no further ado, let's get talking about the products. So starting with the new product to me, this is a product I haven't yet used, so when I do use this in a couple of weeks, I'll video it and share my thoughts with you. But it's Electrox. So Electrox is, going from the blurb on the Bilt Hamber website, basically the kind of gold standard, if you like, of anti-corrosion protection is zinc galvanizing. Now this is over 90% metallic zinc. And basically what that means is it will give you most of the benefits of having an item zinc galvanized, but without the faff, if you like, and the pain and the upheaval of taking that part off, taking it long, dipping it into a bath, and having it zinc galvanized the more traditional way. This will give you a lot of the same protection from a spray-on can. Sound too good to be true? Hey, it's a new product to me, so I'm going to give it a go. So basically what I'm going to use this for is, put that down because that's rattling away. What I'm going to use this for is, I've got on my work van, I've decided I'm going to sell the work van, so it's got steel wheels on it, and as many steel wheels, they've started to corrode, go a bit brown, so I'm going to treat it to some of this. And it says that after you've used this, you don't need to use a primer. You can basically just go straight to paint. I'll be interested to see what finish this gives, because clearly if you don't need to paint, that'll be a bonus. So I don't even know what colour this turns out in. So I'm going to be learning as I go on this one. But really interesting product. Prices on the Electrox start at $12.95 for the spray can like this, and I think the other one is $34.95 for, I think, a 5 litre pail. Because you can, it says in the instructions, it does say quite clearly you can spray it on or you can brush it on. So I'm really interested to see how this goes, and please come along and find out with me. Next on my Bilt Hamber corrosion protection list is Ferrasol. So Ferrasol is pretty much like WD-40. Does the same stuff as WD-40 is renowned for, so for kind of freeing kind of rusted bolts. You can use it as a lubricant in padlocks that start to rust, and kind of helping to undo seized parts, that kind of stuff. You know the score. However, from independent tests, it apparently is up to 3.5 times more effective than WD-40. Now, when I first tried it, I'll be honest, I thought Bilt Hamber don't normally make these wild claims, so I'm sure it is a lot better than WD-40, and it is. In my experience, it truly is. Nothing wrong with WD-40, I hasten to add, before the WD-40 fanboys and girls have a go at me. It does what it does. But what I find with this is it just seems to lubricate a little bit better. I tend to use this on door hinges, particularly on the Defender, because as you may know, Defenders have their door hinges on the outside of the car, so they're open to all the elements and they do rust. They're renowned for rusting. There's a shock. So, yeah, I love my Defender. I know this is a golf channel. I do love my Defender, but man, oh man, it's hard work trying to keep the rust at bay on that thing. But it's a labour of love. But anyway, apparently this bonds to the surface. It bonds electromechanically. Now, from my understanding, that my basic non-chemist understanding, is that means it's a very hard wearing kind of coating on whatever you put it on, which stands up exceptionally well to friction. One of the things this is very, very good at, apparently, is for using as a lube if you're doing a lot of drilling or tapping or something like that. It just helps protect your tools and obviously keep the temperature down and all that kind of good stuff. It's a really flexible kind of product. You can use it for lots of things. But the reason it's on this video is it does have strong anti-corrosion capabilities. It does leave a layer of protection behind, ideal for those door hinges, things like that. So good product to try out. It's $7.95 from memory. So yes, it's a little bit more expensive than WD-40, but as I said, so far I've been using this for about 18 months and I'm truly impressed. It works exceptionally well. Good product. Coming up next, we have a product that I have already done a video on, so I'm really not going to go into any detail on this, and that is Gasmac. I'll put a link to the video that I did on this in the description below, so please check it out if you haven't seen it. But it's an interesting product. So in a nutshell, it's a fuel system rust prohibitor. So you stick it into your fuel tank, it goes through your fuel system, it protects your fuel tank, it protects your fuel lines, it protects everything that the fuel comes in contact with. And the beauty of it is, if you've got a stored car, it also stops the fuel separating in storage. Brings me on to its kind of older sibling, if you like. This is a product that Bilt Hamber have had in the range for some time. And I've got to be honest, I bloody love this stuff. And that is Atom Mac. Chunky old bottle there, isn't it? Now, before... I do worry about my head sometimes. I just go off on a tangent. Yeah, it's a chunky bottle. So there you have it. So Atom Mac, what is it? Well, it's a highly dilutable product. So this is a litre, and at its most concentrated dilution, that would make 20 litres of product. So you know, it's good value for money. 500ml bottles, to put that into perspective, I think start at £21.95, and that will give you 10 litres of product. So again, you know, it works out at £2.20-ish a litre, and you can't complain. What does it do? Well, it's a waterborne migratory corrosion inhibitor. Sounds fancy. Basically what that means, as you probably guessed, is once that's kind of mixed up with water to either 2% or 5%, and I'll explain more of that in a second, dilution, then you just spray it on, walk away, it's fine. The water will take it to wherever it wants to go. You know what water's like, it gets absolutely everywhere. So it'll transport this around wherever you have sprayed it, and it will form a layer of strong anti-corrosion protection. So I use Atom Mac on the crossmember on my Land Rover, which is that, if you've ever followed a Land Rover, it's the kind of metal, almost like a bumper that's below the rear door, and they're renowned for rusting really, really quickly. Got a really thin layer of paint on there, no protection, and that's just bare steel under there, and so they rust really quickly. This during the summer is fantastic, just to spray on there, walk away, and you know it's doing its job. But I also use it for kind of indoor shuts. I'll use it for all kinds of things. I mean, I'll overlay some stuff here that show you just some of the things I use it on. Gym equipment, bikes, alloy wheels. Alloy wheels, it's great for alloy wheels. When your car's stored, not necessarily when you're driving it every day, but when the car's stored, just spray a little over. I mean, I choose to wipe it off, but you don't have to. You can just leave it there. You know, the water will soon flash off, and you'll have a little bit of protection there, and a kind of corrosion fighter on the wheels. But also ideal for suspension components. And my favourite use of it, and this is the one that seems to confuse a lot of people who talk about this product, is on disc brakes. So when you wash your car, you all know the experience. The water goes on the disc brakes, it goes brown straight away, and you wash your car, you drive it down the road, and all this brown rust dust comes off and covers your wheels and makes your wheels brown. Frustrating as hell. With this, all you do, or I do, and it seems to work really well anyway, is when when you're faffing about before you start washing the car, and you're faffing about getting your 2 buckets out and filling your foam lamps and all that kind of faff. I mean, it takes you half an hour just before you even start washing the car. Well, when you go outside to start faffing, just spray the discs with some Atom Mac at 5% dilution, and then get on with your faff, and then wash the car. When you've dried the car, another spray on the disc brakes, and there will be no brown. There will be no brown on those disc brakes whatsoever. It's magic, and it's good certainly for show cars, because there's nothing more infuriating. You've made your car concourse ready, and then you've got brown disc brakes. It used to drive me absolutely insane, but this stuff stops that. And on your daily driver, it just makes it look nicer, and you haven't got that brown dust all over your alloys when you pull away. Now, an old favourite. This is the Bilt Hamber product that brought me to the brand, and technology's moved on. This will never get replaced, and I'll tell you why. And that is Autobalm. Now, what is it? Depending on who you listen to online, it's an all-in-one, it's a polish, it's a sealant. If you listen to some people, it's a pain in the derriere to put on and off, and it's truly not. Not in my experience. It's a product that, it's that old saying, little goes a long way. You spread it on exceptionally thinly, and it'll give you no troubles at all. But I'll come back to that shortly. So what actually is it? Well, it's a very glossy, very filler heavy anti-corrosion sealant. It will really enhance the gloss on your car, exceptionally so in my experience. Certainly on darker colours it works very, very well. It will fill exceptionally well. A couple of layers of this and it hides a lot of swirls. If you've got a swirled car, if you've got an old paintwork that you don't necessarily want to machine polish, this will hide a lot of defects. It works basically by sealing the pores. So it fills the pores in the paintwork essentially. So sometimes on particularly used and old paintwork, I've kind of used this in the past on other people's cars that just haven't looked after their cars, and basically the first time you go over it, it looks a bit patchy. Bits look shiny, bits look dull. And it's a little underwhelming. You give it a second go, and it'll even. There's a finish off really nicely. And when you understand what it's doing, it's actually filling the pores in the paint. Of course, when you've just gone over it once, some of those are going to take more filling than others, and so you get this kind of uneven appearance. But yeah, a couple of layers and you're good to go with this stuff. It's really quite impressive. Now, certainly on the Defender, I use this a lot, again, on that cross member, bane of my life, and on the steel bumpers at the front. It's very, very good on bare steel. It's very good on paintwork. You can use it on aluminium. You can use it on your alloys if you want to. You can use it on chrome. It's pretty universal. Now, in terms of applying, I've never quite understood why people struggle with this. If I'm honest, it's as simple as using a wet or a damp, I should say, a damp applicator pad. Not to the point, if you put the applicator into the pot and you can see like little water beads on it, then it's too wet. You need to really wring it out, so it's just slightly damp. And then evenly and very thinly spread it across the paintwork, and it goes on a dream and it comes off a dream. So I've never struggled with it. Honestly, I think it's a perfectly simple product to use, and it's a really effective product. A little tip for you, and this is covered on the Bilt Hamber website, but I noticed it recently, and it's a fantastic tip. So if the car is not in too bad a condition paintwork wise, if you basically go, how can I describe this? If you apply it in straight lines, so on the bonnet and on the tops of the wings, back to forth lines, back and forth lines, on the sides and on the rear, up and down, it just fills any defects beautifully, and the finish is stunning. If your car needs a bit more work, then use the old-fashioned wax on, wax off approach, and that works. Don't tell me, don't ask me to explain why that is. I don't know. I generally don't know. I've tried to think of the logic of why that works so differently, but it does, and it gives you results. So, yeah, I mean, a tub of this lasted me years. This is a fairly new one, but I had a tub that lasted me 8 years, and you know, it didn't go off. It just carried on working. It's a good product. So now we're getting to the real kind of business end of protecting your car against winter grime, against you know, to protect it in storage, and that is the under seals, the underbody waxes, sealants that are really going to protect the most exposed areas of your car. Now, Bilt Hamber do a series of 3 products for this. And they're called Dynax UB. Old branding there. Sorry, Bilt Hamber. I've got such a big stock of this stuff that I'm only just getting through it slowly. Dynax UC and Dynax S50. So what's the difference? Well, Dynax UB and UC, first of all. So basically, as I said, they are your underbody waxes. They are abrasion resistant, they're long lasting, they will, you can put them on existing corrosion, and they will actually arrest the development of any further corrosion at any kind of corroded areas. Obviously it's always best to kind of treat the area first, just to, you know, really kind of prolong it, but you can put this on corroded metal and it will fight the corrosion for you, as well as protect from the elements. The difference between the two, UB is a brown colour, UC is clear. So the UB I tend to use on the underside of the Defender, underneath the rivage, places that, you know, people aren't going to see. The UC is great for kind of wheel wells and for that cross member again. This is what I put on during winter because you can't see it. If you put it on nice and thin, you genuinely can't see this. But it's such a rock hard wax, just nothing gets through it. Actually, the one thing I should mention with both of them as well, a lot of waxes can attract dust and dirt. These don't, they generally don't, so it is long lasting. I mean, to give you an idea, with the UB for example, that's why I've got so much of it left and using the old branding. I will do the Land Rover chassis once a year. And last year, granted we were on lockdown, so the vehicle didn't really get used a lot last year, but I didn't even need to touch it up. I mean, it was fine. On a year when it's getting used more, you can start to see little bits of wear where this has kind of worn off, but it's tiny. It really is long-lasting stuff. So when you apply them, what you need to do, and I'll show you this in the video that I'm going to be doing in a few weeks' time when the weather gets better, but you just kind of go around, normal thing, wire brush, get rid of any kind of flaky bits of previous protectant or any flaky bits of paintwork, rust, whatever it may be on the chassis rails. Spray it on, job done. It's that simple. They're just really, really good products. So price-wise, they start at $14.95. I will just check that. Yes, $14.95. Hey, professional. So, yeah, it's good value. You can buy them in 5 litre kind of pails as well, and brush it on, or spray it on if you've got a compressor sprayer or something like that. It's up to you. But these aerosol tins, they come with kind of lances as well. And on the Bilt Hamber website, you have the choice of kind of getting the kind of long injection lances. Depending on where you want to use them, there's a solution for you. So the final underbody wax that Bilt Hamber do is this Dynax S50. I can safely say this is the favourite product of the underbody range for me. There's something quite therapeutic. I might be a bit odd. I might be a bit sad. I don't know. But there's something therapeutic about using this. I can't explain it. But the main thing is, regardless of my oddities, it's a good product. Essentially it's a cavity wax, and it will creep into all kind of tight kind of tolerance areas and into seams and welded areas, and it'll just creep along. It's self-healing, so if it does get kind of disrupted at some stage, it will just heal itself. This is ideal for body panels, for inside doors, again with the Land Rover. The bulkhead, which rusts regularly, it's absolutely full of this stuff. Inside the chassis rails on your cars, it's you know, it comes out, it's a very dark brown colour. It's not particularly strongly resistant to ultraviolet light, so I mean it is designed as a cavity wax, so where it's all dark and it needs to do a job for you, this is ideal. A word of warning with this, if you get any on your driveway, good luck getting it off. It sets hard on driveways. It's whether it's something to do with the ultraviolet light or what it is, I don't know, because it obviously creeps inside the car. As soon as it gets outside on the driveway, it doesn't want to creep anywhere. It sticks like glue. But just be careful when you use it. It comes with a long injection lance, as you'll see with the kind of cut over shots that I'll put here for you. And that's got a 360 degree head to it. So as you're kind of moving the lance along the inside of the bodywork, it's getting a fair old coverage as you go. So yeah, it's very, very easy to use. It's, as with most products, a little goes a long way. You really don't need to use a lot, and you'll get a nice even coverage. Now, if you want to know more about any of these products, on the Bilt Hamber website, they go into a lot more detail, as you'd expect. But what they'll also do is they'll give you details of independent tests where, frankly, these have absolutely aced them. And if you Google, there's lots of other independent reviews, because of course you'd expect the ones on the brand's website to be the positive ones. But if you do Google, you won't find a bad word against any of these products. They're seriously, seriously impressive. I will never touch Waxoyl, Buzzweld, Dinitrol, any of that stuff ever again. This is better, it's cheaper, it's easier to use, and it lasts longer. What's not to like? Well, that's it from me. Thank you for watching. This is a really strong range of products. As I said, in the coming weeks, I'll be doing a full video on how it actually gets applied to the vehicles. But to do that, obviously, I need to get them outside and get them in the air. Have a look online. Look at the independent reviews. Look at the independent tests that have been carried out. I mean, these ace them. They really do. They just perform so well. I can't stress enough. As I said at the start, I'm not affiliated to Bilt Hamber in any way. I just like sharing what I have found to be the best in class with fellow car owners, with fellow classic car owners and enthusiasts, because you need to protect your pride and joy. It's important, and these will do it for you. So anyway, that's it for me for now. Stay safe, and hopefully I'll see you very soon. Cheers, bye for now.